Welcome back to the All Sports Network. So free agency, it's right around the corner. Free agency is always this big deal. A lot of time can be more exciting than the regular season. It's tons of fun. I enjoyed every year, but this year, like every year, there are a few guys that are just big question marks. Now, Cal Lowry, in my opinion, I believe he is the best free agent. Just maybe the biggest. I know guys like Kawhi and whatnot though, but I mean, if we're being honest, Kawhi's gonna resign most likely. I mean, he's in LA, and all that, so I don't, I'm not, I don't really believe he's gonna leave. Then again, we never know with Kawhi, but yeah, and like I know other guys are younger, may arguably better or whatever, like a Victor Oladipo, but um, in my opinion, I don't think Victor's been as good as Lowry, but he's the guy who won't play next year. So um, yeah. Anyway, Lowry, in my opinion, is just a big question mark because um, like I honestly, there's so many possibilities, and it's weird because on one hand, I'm like, does this guy take a cheap deal and tries to win a ring with the Lakers? Does he go back to his hometown, gets a pretty good contract or whatever though to play for the Sixers, or does he sign the minimum and play for the Mavericks? Like, there, I honestly do not know. And there's a lot of places or whatever, wherever he goes though, yeah, he's gonna make a big impact. Obviously his best, the Lakers are probably his best chance. Their potential sign and trade, right? Schroeder, whatever, and it's pretty obvious that Lowry was already meant to leave. When they gave him 30 million, when I saw that, I kind of assumed, oh, okay, so they're just paying him right now, like maybe fill up some of the salary cap or whatever, though, and doing us a favor or whatever, because he probably won't be there for long. And you know, this past year, it looked like he was gonna leave. It looked like they were gonna make a trade at the deadline. There was a big celebration thing. And Drake. They had their moment. It honestly looked like this was Lowry's last game as a Toronto Raptor. But we later found out that no trade was made. The Lakers didn't want to give up. Um, you know, the THT. And to be honest with you, I don't think THT was worth keeping. I know he's young and all that though, but seeing as what happened and whatnot though, I honestly believe that the Lakers won the title and the front office was uh, let's get the best guys that maybe have the best stats or whatever, because I remember being like, oh, Montrez, that's cool, but now in hindsight, I'm like, yeah, this guy's he's a zero in the playoffs. Um, Andre Drummond is zero at all times. I know he had the one good game. I don't care. He had he had five bad ones. I could be wrong, of course, but what I'm trying to say is Andre Drummond is not good at all. Um, he's obviously good at rebounding, but everything else he's garbage. Anyway, so yeah, um, Lowry's the type of guy that the Lakers will most likely try their hardest to get. Lowry, he's a championship point guard. He's a guy that he may not be the best point guard. But for a championship team, you much rather have him than like Westbrook, for example. Um, that's probably gonna hurt some Westbrook stands out there or whatever. Because Westbrook is a better player than Lowry, yes, of course, but Lowry just does a lot of things that championship teams love and need, um, and Russ doesn't. Anyway, so yeah, and I feel like a big thing too though is age. I am one who's not too concerned with age, just because Lowry, he's not getting a max. Like, he's not. And he could, he could probably get 20 million, honestly, or whatever though. But he's not getting a max. And in today's league, 20 million isn't exactly a lot. I mean, it is a lot of money, but in today's league, 20 million, super. It's relatively easy to move. If Gallinari, let's say he was a lot worse or whatever, no doubt in my mind the Hawks could have flipped that or whatever. It's when you start going into like the 28 million, 30 million, that's when it becomes harder to trade. But yeah, so Lowry, let's say he signed with his hometown, Philly, right? Um, that'd be a great move. Be a freaking great move because he does a lot of what they need. Um, and I can only imagine the things he could do with when Seth Curry's on fire or whatever, and Joel Embiid, um, and it's funny mentioning Seth Curry as one of the Sixers' best players, but Seth Curry really does elevate his game. Anyway, so yeah, that could be a great team. With Seth most likely off the bench and Thibault off the bench, coming off the bench. I mean, and whatever they have offensively. But yeah. Now in this scenario, if you're Philly, right now it looks nice, and like I said, like I'm not too worried about Lowry's age, but I feel like the Sixers probably would be, because Lowry, I know he is pushing 35 or whatever, and so ultimately they might not want to because it doesn't fit their timeline, in my opinion. If you're not gonna trade Ben Simmons, if that's not your intention this season, this upcoming off season, or next season in general, then get Lowry because you really need a guy like that. And he's a guy that wants to play in his hometown apparently. From what I've heard. but yeah. However, if you trade Simmons, I could see why you wouldn't want to get Lowry. Because you could definitely put that money in other places or whatever though, and try to get younger guys. Now there are a few other teams, like I said earlier, the Mavericks, and other teams like the Heat. Um, Look, the Heat made the finals. They were a great team that year, but in my opinion, I don't think they're capable of making that move. Last year, James Harden was up for grabs. This MVP, arguably a guy who should be a two-time MVP. Not really arguably, honestly. He deserves Russ's MVP. Um, he's a guy, right, that if you're a contender and you're able to do it, you trade for him. I don't believe the potential for Tyler Hero is worth more than a league MVP, especially someone like James Harden. You know, and I don't believe the Heat. Honestly, Lowry would fit in like very well with the Heat, but I don't think they'll do it. Uh, the Mavericks, I think they will, just because they really need someone like that. Jalen Brunson's good, but they definitely need a Lowry in there. They need some more defense. Josh Richardson, he's cool defensively. He's really good. But offensively, dude, he can't really shoot threes that well. Um, he's like okay at finishing. But Lowry, he's solid all around. And especially on a team like the Mavericks, he would have such a big impact defensively. Let's say they decide to keep Porzingis or whatever, though. We would probably be seeing some of the craziest basketball ever. In my opinion, Lowry's one of the. He has a case for it for sure. He just might be honestly, but he is one of the best like post defenders in the NBA. Even though he is only 6 foot. So yeah, it would be be crazy the things that we would see from the Mavericks. Because Lowry plays a lot bigger than he is, and Porzingis plays a lot smaller. But yeah. So yeah, Lowry wherever he goes, he's a positive. and I think if you can get him, you need to, honestly. I know he's getting older and all that, but honestly, I don't think he's slowed down since that championship run at all. I just feel like, you know, um, he's been wanting his other guys to shine and whatnot, though. Because Lowry, he's still elite. You know, he's a great defender. You know, he's a pretty good, solid 3 point shooter. You know, he's a pretty good playmaker. This guy, um, he could honestly have like a Drew Holiday impact. He's not as good defensively as Drew Holiday, but like that level of like, this is a guy that, you give up quite a bit for, and you could potentially get him for like, 20 million. Maybe not even that, like this is a guy that you will just not have to give the max for, okay? And I mean, not have to give the max to, and he's gonna be great for you. So yeah. So many teams, honestly. I know everyone wants to go to the Lakers and whatnot, though, but you will have to see, because not much has come out, just information about him wanting to go to Philly, and how it's time to move on. But yeah, we don't know. We don't know what Lowry wants to do. Maybe we could see a potential Lowry and DeRozan um, reunion or something. Both free agents this year. So yeah. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to see what happens this offseason.